The idea that Leonardo da Vinci painted two versions of the Mona Lisa has been around for over 400 years. There's a significant amount of evidence, and it gets cooler as we go. I lied. I'm going to give you the best evidence right away. So, all the historians agree that the style of the Mona Lisa had to have been painted after 1513. That's a fact. Now, in the historical record, we have Da Vinci allegedly working on this painting from 1503 to 1506. Da Vinci often made two versions of his work. He did two versions of Virgin on the Rocks. He did two versions of St. John the Baptist, two versions of Leda and the Swan, two versions each of the drawings of Isabel d'Este, the Adoration of the Magi, and St. Anne. Okay, now this is the coolest part. Remember, it had to have been painted, the one in the Louvre, after 1513. So, in 2005, a scholar at Heidelberg University discovered a marginal note in a 1477 printing of a volume by Cicero. The note was dated October 1503 and was written by Leonardo's contemporary Agostino Vespucci. The note likens Leonardo to the renowned Greek painter Apelles, who's mentioned in the text, and states that Leonardo was at that time working on a painting of Lisa del Giocondo. That means that we know Leonardo was making a painting of the subject who appears in the Mona Lisa in 1503, even though the version hanging in the Louvre could not have been painted until after 1513. So I lied again. There's one more really cool piece of evidence, and it's a sketch by Raphael. Raphael visited Da Vinci's workshop as he was working on the Mona Lisa, and he made his own sketch of the painting, and you can see that it has these columns in the background that are not in the Mona Lisa. Historians thought for some time that meant that the painting had been trimmed, but it was proven conclusively in 1993 that the Louvre Mona Lisa has never been trimmed. And like I said, the theory's been around for over 400 years. Gianpaolo Lamazzo, in his treatise on painting in 1584, identified two versions of the painting, and he was allegedly a longtime acquaintance with Leonardo's personal secretary. The second Mona Lisa is referred to as the Gioconda, and Melzi writes, "The two most beautiful and important portraits by Leonardo are Mona Lisa and the Gioconda." Also, a 16th century biographer of Da Vinci named Vasari wrote of his work, the Mona Lisa, that after he had lingered over it for 4 years, he left it unfinished. The one in the Louvre is clearly finished. And I think if it were apparent that it had been finished by a student, the experts would have been able to figure that out. So we have documentation that he started the painting in 1503. We also have documentation that he started the painting after 1513. We have documentation that it was commissioned by Francesco del Giancardo. We also have documentation showing that it was commissioned by Giuliano de' Medici. Now, something that seemed to be a bit of evidence was the fact that contemporaries described how realistic the eyebrows and eyelashes on the painting were, and the one in the Louvre doesn't appear to have either, but close examination determined that it did used to have eyebrows and eyelashes, but overcleaning has caused them to fade over time. However, contemporaries described the lips as being red. We have no evidence that the lips on the Louvre painting were ever red. Now, if I recall, there's some Texas oil man out there right now claiming to have the real Mona Lisa. I don't think his is even on the short list of things that might be the second Mona Lisa, but take a look into it. There's a lot of different paintings out there that might be the second Mona Lisa, and the evidence for them is compelling and a lot of fun to read.